Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is me, Mysterious Cameraman. Today we are reacting to the opening credits of Hawkeye Season 1, Episode 1. So these are the opening credits for this show. I personally really enjoy these opening credits. So we're going to be doing a live reaction review. And this is really live because we are live streaming this. So there might be some people in the comments that distract me from this. I also don't know how the quality of this is actually going to look. But I really don't know how this is going to turn out. So yeah, besides that, let's just jump into it. Actually, before we do, December 30th is going to be the Fan Film Awards 2023. So on December 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time is going to be the awards. I just finished filming everything, so I do know who wins at this point. And I'll admit, the final votes are shocking. I did not expect who was going to win actually won. But who knows what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. I think a few members of my team know who won, but besides that, I don't know so much. I'm meeting a lot of editing this work this week, so I don't know how many videos are going to go out. But yeah, let's just jump into this opening credits. We did Winter Soldier, we did Civil War. These are another one of my favorites. I could have done Secret Invasion. That would have been a fun one. Let's just jump into it. Okay, so let's just first talk about the way that this bullseye, because this is probably my favorite part of the credit, one of my favorites at least. The way that the bullseye is shaped, you can see that it's not just changing, circling, it's morphing. And I know that sounds like I'm a Power Rangers fan, but I'm serious. It's actually morphing and changing, and I think that has to do with how this whole credit is about Kate Bishop growing and changing. And you'll see that just a few seconds ago, it began on black, and it faded in, and then it developed. And I think that is a very interesting thing because this opening credit isn't about Hawkeye, it's about Kate Bishop, like the majority of the show. So I think that's a very subtle way to show it. You could say it's interesting, way to show the thing, but you could say it about anything at this point. So I think you have, I think it's a very interesting idea. Okay, let's just go to this shot because I want to talk about the music here. So we have the bow being handed down from mother to daughter. And first we have all the criminal stuff that's going on in this episode. So, you know, if you've seen the show, you know why. But if you look at, first the font that the show uses is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I think their font's pretty cool. But I think what I really want to highlight here is first the art style and the music. But the art style is very much contrasting colors. They're not using a lot of dramatic colors. They're not using yellow as well. It's mostly purples and blues. And I think what's very interesting about that is the fact that it's mostly purples and blues, is the fact that it's really just these darker, colder colors. And because this is a pretty cold opening credit. This isn't a warm, fuzzy feeling. This is supposed to be pretty dark. This show is pretty dark, except, look, it's not the darkest show. This isn't even the darkest opening credits. But I think it's something to be thought about, at least. Yeah, let's just talk about this a little more. Let's go into the music. I think the music in this is very, you can see the Christmassy vibes in it. This is really our Marvel Christmas special of 2021, and we got holiday special of Guardians 2022. We didn't get any specials this year. I don't really know how to feel about that. But you'll even see we have her mom in the blue, the light, and then the fading away. And then everything that's Kate Bishop's is more solidified. And I think that shows how she's, growing up. And you can even see the bow is a different color in her hands. And I think that's a very interesting thing to be pointed at. Even the way that you saw all those arrows going, it's a very interesting art style. But I think the interesting thing is how those arrows are all going. How it's foreshadowing, but it's also an interesting way, how they're lost almost. How this one person or this one arrow is lost. And I think if you go back, if I can find the shot, yeah, there's so many arrows. So it's one of these arrows is so lost in it. And even the way that this trailer these credits look, they look really visually impressive. Like the Winter Soldier credits that are very impressive when the colors match and it's really just 3 colors. This has a lot of the whites playing off these characters, so they look like real humans. These credits look really visually impressive. And you'll also notice, if we go back, that they're missing the mark, and I think that's also that they're lost at this point. I think you see that with the arrows, you see that here, and I think this is all about them, and even the seasons. First, I think there's a few things to talk about here. First, we have a different season. We're at night. You can see she's taller, and those are like the obvious ones in my opinion. But first, you can there's now two instead of one. So even though there's now two, so it's showing the clear moving up, and the colors as well. They're getting darker. They're getting more solidified. They're getting more older, I guess you could say. And again, you can even see the way that this trailer, these credits, I should say, work, is it's lighter as they're younger and it's darker as they get older. And I think what should be really recognized about that is it shows how things got worse for her and how she found her place, but things also didn't go as well. And it shows her growing up from it being a lighter mix between a few colors to a very solidified color. And now, again, another change in season. That's another important thing. We have a second change in season here. A third, actually. And you see even the bullseyes here, over here. But again, it's another change in season. Now we're in winter, and we see it's more developed. And even with that arrow shot, we didn't see it lost. Now we see who this person is. Now, instead of seeing her, we're seeing all her accomplishments. We see her accomplishments growing. Again, another one. Even though this is older, you can again see the contrast in the darker colors. And again, she looks more human-like. Instead of even though there are more arrows, the arrows are more on point. And I think her growing up and becoming better, you could say that archery is kind of just a skill that she's learning. But you could also say, I think the way that I want to look at it is kind of she's learning who she is and she's finally having something to aim towards. And I think that's almost what they said in Shang-Chi with Katie and that character. And I think that's something to be it's a very interesting part of it, but you can also look at how there's a lot of people in her, almost how she's stronger than she looks, with all those hands punching or all the arrows going. I think that's another way to think of it. And you'll also notice that this looks like a comic book, especially as it goes on more. The cameras, again, the arrows again, showing how it's all moving forward, how it's these swift motions instead of showing the actual characters moving, showing the things. Again, characters moving so slightly, but the actual stabbing didn't happen. It was showing the arrow. The arrows aren't actually moving on screen. Again, she's evolving, and now she hits her mark. And I think that's such a brilliant shot. How there's a bullseye here, and how she's hitting her shot right there. And I think that's showing how, as she's evolving, she's learning her powers, I guess you could say. Get back to a specific part. And again, now that she's starting to learn who she is, she's finding her mark. She's finding her bullseye. I think that's a very interesting way to look at it. I think that's the way to be looking at it. Because I think you have to think about these credits with how good they are. And there are more words. And even her getting up, you can see it's very blanky, really choppy. You'll notice it's very choppy. It looks like she's moving up, not just standing up, moving up. Again, she went through. Oh my god. She went through. She found her mark. She went through. And now she's. And I think what I want to talk about specifically is how these credits are so similar to Winter Soldier. Because they feel flowing. Even though these are so much more developed than the Winter Soldier credits, and I mean that you see more detail, I don't think that makes this one necessarily better. But I think what this does specifically is it has such an interesting again, it feels like everything's flowing. It's telling a story that we don't see. And I think it's such a bold move that they're going from her as a child, and they're showing her growing up through the credits. I think that's such a bold decision. Like, again, that's what I also love in credits. When they're showing credits, but they're also telling a story. Again, I think you'd be a fool to skip through these credits. Like, the Secret Invasion credits, I can get skipping through. But these are telling a story that if you don't watch these, you're gonna miss some stuff about the character. And again, it's not a crucial amount, it's not so much. But I think it's something to be thought about. I think you should, I think these are genuinely impressive credits that give a lot to the story. And now now 3 bullseyes, showing how she's growing up, how she's moving up, how basically she's, and now they're all bullseyes. She's finding her. And again, you can look at the bullseyes hitting the mark literally just is getting better well, so she's finding herself. And all these trophies, which I've been waiting to talk about, she's been going from third to second to first now. And it's showing how she's literally just getting better. And instead of showing it all at once, like going from a third place trophy, spinning to second, spinning to third, then arrow, boom, and then boom, then boom. It's genuine, it's like a full progression. Because this credit isn't just about giving the names of the people. It's telling an important amount of years in these credits. Again, it's giving character development in white, blue, dark blue, navy, purple, and all these colors without a single person, a real person with a real voice. It is showing all of it through animation. It's telling an incredible story in less than a minute. You see how it just transitioned from that to her moving to the real world, how she's growing up, how she's finally hitting the mark. And I think that's such an important thing to show, how she's finally growing up, how she's learning everything. And that's just such an incredible shot. And you'll see, I can't say anything else besides that this looks like a comic book. I don't see how else to describe this, besides that this really genuinely just looks like a comic book. And I think that's such an interesting idea that they're making this look like a comic book. But it looks genuinely just so good, and it tells such an interesting story. And again, the bullseyes and her looking over the city. Because again, we're going to begin here in a few minutes. Or I think we might actually just cut to it. So I think it's just one way of thinking of it. Like, once I say a lot of it during the credits, but I think what should be, reinforced is that these credits are all about Kate Bishop growing up. And it's telling a story through animation that we've never really seen, I've never seen a credit at least, that tries to tell a story throughout it. Like Winter Soldier does it. Winter Soldier does it very well. But I feel like with some credits, you just try to repeat the film. This isn't it. These credits specifically try to tell a lot about these characters and show the story of Kate Bishop growing up without deliberately telling us this is the story of Kate Bishop growing up. And I think that's what this does so well. And I think that why these credits are so good, why you should sit through these credits, and why these credits draw you in so much. Compared to even the Secret Invasion credits, I think what these do so well is it tells a story and it's placed in such a good part of it that you're not going to skip over it. Yeah, sure, you could skip over it, but then you're missing an important piece of information. Like, it's saying, yeah, sure, skip the credits, and then wait for the post-credit scene. That's what you do at the end. But because of this, you're missing a lot of information about this character, and I think that's what is so important about it, and so good, really, about these credits. So yeah, I don't have much else to say. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, check out the Phantom Awards. December 30th, 2023, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Get ready for it. It's going to be a huge event. If you have a Phantom trailer, though, that you want featured in it, go do that in the description of this video. That's so important. We do want to start seeing some people submit their trailers and show all that stuff. So, guys, go do that. We really want to, we really do want to see what you're working on with this, your stuff. And if you want to be featured in the awards, go do that. It's such, I really want to see really feature these incredible trailers. And yeah, besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.